Sure, I'm sure I'll be speaking to him very soon, as we do have a Ryan fight coming up.
Uh, who would that be against?
Not sure yet.
Okay.
Not sure yet. I think I'm hoping it's Devin Haney.
Yeah, that would be the big
I
one.
think that, yeah, I think that'll be the biggest fight out there for both guys. It's an opportunity for Devin Haney to obviously get revenge and vindicate himself. But for Ryan, it'll just put a you know it'll just put a stamp on his legacy once again. What he did the first time around will obviously justify that he was ready and a better fighter the second time around.
Again, when we spoke in October, things weren't great, but then he had the fight in February, and it seemed like things were great, that fight week and whatnot. How are things between you and Ryan these days?
We're actually cool.
Okay.
We're actually cool. I have look, like I said, I mean I don't take anything personal with fighters, and I don't fall in love with fighters, and because they'll break your heart. But when there's business to be done, hey, I'm right there, making sure that I want to get the best, the biggest purse for my fighters. I want to make sure that my fighter is taken care of, and we're taken care of. So that's all that matters to me. I'm building Golden Boy as a brand. That's my love.
Have there been talks with Team Haney about making this fight yet?
No, there hasn't been
Okay.
any talks whatsoever. So we're hoping by July we have a fight in place here in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile, most likely, or maybe even the Allegiant Stadium. But those talks will start very soon.
And when you say by July, do you mean the fight would happen in July or it'd get finalized in July?
Yeah, it could happen in July.
Okay, amazing.
Could happen.
So Oscar De La Hoya is now talking about pushing for Ryan Garcia to fight Devin Haney in July. So apparently Nairobi, he was at I guess Keith and Fondor had a press conference. He was at the he was at the press conference, and he was saying Devin need to sign the contract. Oscar said that they haven't sat down and had any dialogue with the Haneys about doing the fight, but it sounds like they want to swoop in and actually do the fight in July. Why is that? Because there's probably no more money options on the table. Ryan probably wants another payday in July, and they need an opponent, which it makes a bunch of sense to do a summer blockbuster. I don't think there's any summer blockbusters that's on deck right now, so it makes sense still the summer in July. And do the fight. He said he's somewhere in Vegas, maybe Allegiant Stadium, and I think a lot of people would mob to that fight. I think that fight is bigger and better than the Rolly fight. But the problem is you throwing that out there when Devin Haney and them is in the 23rd and a half hour of doing this Rolly deal. And I heard Bill has basically said they're gonna fight Rolly. Now, could Oscar just be like, okay, let's do it? And Devin just say, okay, I'd rather do this and I put Rolly on the burner. Who knows? Whatever's best for them. But, the whole thing that Ryan Garcia is the chip in the dip, it's a wrap. They know Ryan needs brothers. Ryan needs the opponent, and they need Devin, So if I'm Devin, who the A side now? I got something lined up. You don't have nothing lined up. You can't get Shakur Stevenson. Who you gonna fight? Tia Female, Brian Norman, and the belief is you may lose for short money. So honestly, I'm not sure. But De La Hoya said they haven't had any dialogue with them, with the Haneys. And that leads you to believe if they didn't have any dialogue with the Haneys, maybe now they trying to jump in and steal that fight. And maybe that's why the Haneys ain't, officially signed the Rolly fight, because I know if Turkey ain't involved, it's short money. I just know that to be a fact. So, only time will tell. Only time will tell. So, but respectfully, I mean, whatever makes sense, this might be a good, quick time to get the WBA and just tell Ryan, hey, May, June, after they fight May 30th, is that the rumor date? May, June, July, or July, June, July, August, we come back in September and do it, So it could be a compromise there. But right now they looking desperate. Who the A side now? Devin got something lined up. And now you trying to come in there and say we can get it done. I think we under the impression that, Haney and Rolly is done. So but Oscar can make it happen. If Turkey jump in with a huge bag, we know the Haney is capitalist, they're gonna take the money. But it might be one of their last times to get that WBA belt. But if you don't plan on being a undisputed, then give a fuck about the WBA. But if you plan on being undisputed, the thing about it is if you beat Rolly, get that belt, then you got to see the mandatory. Then you got to see the mandatory. So do y'all pay the mandatory again to step aside, and then there's 3 belts on the line and a mandatory fight for the 3 belts? Or, could they do some finagling and get the mandatory a shot at Lewis Crocker? That might happen. That might can happen. But regardless, if Devin fight Rolly, then you still dealing with the mandatory. Do you give him some money and then give him a spot on the undercard? But then when you're done with that, eventually he gonna want his title shot. So if the goal for Devin Haney ain't to be undisputed, I think at this point, or some personal vendetta against Rolly, if that ain't important, I think at this point, getting Ryan, if that's the case, getting Ryan, clipping Ryan wings. But we'll see. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. If we keeping it real, I think it's going to be very, very interesting. Very. So only time will tell, right? But moving on, now you got Kid Austin and them saying them and Virgil Ortiz in the same boat. They beefing with Golden Boy. And I find it so funny that Virgil and Schofield Jr., whatever, the third, they both just like read up with Golden Boy. And now they have an issue with Golden Boy. It was first, Schofield and them was saying that how much they love Oscar and all that. Now they're probably mad that De La Hoya and Golden Boy don't have the juice to override them stripping Tank, then reinstating Tank. So now we want to go, and guess what? The brand isn't strong enough. Y'all probably don't have enough money to buy yourself out the contract. The brand isn't strong enough. I mean, and you think Oscar gonna lose Virgil Ortiz or any fighter at this point? Ryan was talking about this his last fight, and guess what? Every time Ryan talk about this his last fight with Golden Boy, you know what I'm saying? It ain't never his last fight with fucking Golden Boy. Am I lying? It ain't never his last fucking fight with Golden Boy. That's the funny thing about it. Oh, it's my last fight with Golden. It ain't never his last fight. So Oscar De La Hoya got them in fucked up contracts. So they crying over a title shot. And the worst thing you can do, if you ain't really prepared to go to litigation or you ain't prepared to really go to war, is go to social media crying and complaining. A lot of times, a lot of people feel like that's irreparable damage. So, Schofield, they saying they taking on Forsaker. I mean, trash ass fight. They probably pull out that fight. Everybody then beat up on Forsaker. Then Virgil Ortiz, he probably gonna fight the winner, Keith Thurman and Fondora. You got guys like Rory, who are Florida boy, saying, "Oh man, Keith going up, man. Keith getting packed up." If Keith don't get packed up, they probably did some real drug testing, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, Keith is tried and tried and tested, but no, whatever, right? Yeah, whatever, right? But who else? Where else we going with this at? But Oscar got a lot on his plate right now. You got multiple fighters, at the same time, and this ain't nothing new with Oscar. Marquez complained, Canelo complained, Jamil Charlo complained about being over at Golden Boy. So this ain't nothing new, but, we'll see what happened with him. But honestly, worst thing you do is go do something public. Virgil Ortiz didn't really say nothing public. It's the manager. He's smart enough to have a buffer between him and that. Was that being Rick Merrigan, Floyd Schofield. Oscar don't like y'all black asses. Y'all's out here buffooning or raccooning for Ryan against Devin. Y'all was out here, he talking about his son, talking about he died. He cried when Canelo lost to Crawford. Like, bro, I did all that cooning to still be in a predicament to be begging. What's the point of cooning and selling out if you still gonna be begging and you still gonna get treated wrong? That's what I don't understand when you see people sell their souls in Hollywood and they be a C-list actor. A motherfucker sold his soul to do a progressive commercial. He could have made more work in that fucking Staples. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance, get notifications. We go live or drop video. Follow me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch. Join the Patreon. I'm gonna get around. By the time you see this, I ought to get around to posting the Keith Thurman and Fondor prediction on the Patreon. I'm not doing no more fight predictions on a regular channel. So, so be it. Then the clips have a song called "So Be It." But yeah, man. So I'm not mad if Devin choose to fight Rolly or Ryan. I'm fine with it. I don't see no complaints. PBC is broke, busted, begging, and disgusted. So we know what they own. So they need $1 is what they need. If you spend your dollar with me, they give you a bum ass fight that you ain't asked to see. Peace.